The topic for today's video is, in my opinion, the most irritating aspect of the Formula 1 series. It isn't a new problem, and it seems that it isn't going away anytime soon. We will talk about how the cars react to track limits. In the last video about Assetto Corsa, you saw how much you have to mind curbs, astroturf and grass if you want to go fast. Formula 1 games have been a disaster in this area for a while now. Players have been allowed to drive anywhere with no consequences. You got away with things like braking with 2 wheels on the grass and 2 wheels on tarmac, or riding the highest curbs of the calendar with the center of the car. This ruined like half the tracks on the game. If you wanted to be fast, you had to go completely against all you knew about Formula 1. Tracks with plenty of chicanes, like Canada or Monza, became a complete joke, but many others suffered too. The track I choose to evaluate how Formula 116 behaves here is Albert Park. But, before starting to talk about Formula 116, I thought it was a good idea having a look at older games, to see how bad this problem used to be. I looked for a random world record lap from a previous game. This is what I came across. It shows well the kind of driving you needed to do if you wanted to be competitive. Let's have a look. Coming from that starting point, this year's game has made some improvements. On corner exit, track limits have become far more dangerous. As long as you are trying to find traction, the game will bite you if you do stupid things, like putting wheels on the grass. Even in 5th gear, you won't find traction on the grass, and that's welcome. Anyway, look at how fake that save felt. The same applies for AstroTurf. It used to be just like normal tarmac, but not anymore. You cannot use it to extend your lines, as it will force you to lift or correct. But it gets even better. The normal flat curbs also have less grip and can cause wheel spin on corner exit. You can see that I am getting good traction on the tarmac, and as soon as the rear wheel goes onto the curb, the same throttle input than before will cause wheel spin. Now, time for the bad news. All the improvements on corner exit don't apply in the apex or on corner entry. Your car reactions to curbs are decent if you are in a heavy traction zone, but they are horrible in any other situation. They are so bad that, before a curve physically bothers your car, you will get to the point where the gate detection system is triggered. You can be all 4 wheels off the track over a curve and still it won't do anything. This next corner is a good example. And this goes for 90% of the corners in the game. My driving in the next corners is not any better and nothing happens. I use the grass on the inside, ride huge curves, and the car stays perfectly planted. The result is that the ideal racing line for most tracks has nothing to do with the real one. This will be the normal line into turn 1, while this is the ideal line in this game. You can bet that you won't ever see a real car driving over here and getting away with it. This is the normal line into turn 3, and this is where the game lets you drive. Now the real line for turn 5, and this is the Codemasters line. Same idea for turn 6, and this is what the game wants you to do. Again, same story as before, no one will ever do this in a real Formula 1 and get away with it. Just 2 more examples. Normal line first, and now the ideal line in this game. This one is quite annoying because they bother putting this huge curve there, which is good, but then you ride it and it does nothing. And for the last example, one of the best corners in the full Formula 1 calendar becomes a joke. This is what the real cars do into the fast chicane ahead. And this is what you should do if you want to be fast in this game. In the real track, the drivers need to come back close to the left edge of the circuit to keep a decent line for the second apex. To do that, you need to sacrifice a bit of speed into the first left-hander, and then be very precise picking the moment to change direction. And the reason for that is that this is the hardest you can attack this curve. You can touch it with one side of your car, but you need the button to clear it, or you are going to bounce at very high speed while asking your car to sustain a huge lateral effort. In the game, you can charge into the first of the corners and then stay in the middle of the road for the second one. Also, you don't really need to nail the direction change because it doesn't matter at all how you ride the next curve. You can do suicidal stuff like this and still survive even full throttle. The car won't bounce, the rear won't go away from you, and you really have to drive like a jerk for the game to penalize you. I was allowed to get away with this. This has been a problem for 7 years now, and they are just not able to fix it. If you bother watching where the AI cars drive, it's obvious the guys at Codemasters know where the real cars drive. AI cars do drive in the real racing line all around the track. So there are just 2 explanations left. 1, their game engine cannot do any better than this, or 2, they keep the game this way intentionally. I don't know what to think. It's no secret that this game wants to stay accessible for a wide audience, but this is over the top. I can deal with the cars being a bit on the forgiving side or not being perfectly accurate, but the chance to drive all around the place really spoils the game, and it makes it feel cheap. You have very good stuff like tire wear simulation, weight effect on lap times, you have a decent behavior from the cars that allows anyone to have fun, you have a very competent weather system where all the tires work as supposed in all conditions, and then you spoil it all by allowing people to drive everywhere. There is just a handful of tracks where this isn't a big factor, and in most places, if you don't drive like a jerk, you are giving away a lot of lap time. This is the only aspect of the game that makes me wonder if I'll play it for a long time. Watching these cars behave like SUVs is something hard to get over for anyone with a strong interest in the real series. It's a bit as if you buy a FIFA game and players score every time they shoot from 40 meters. And that's it. This was all a bit of a rant, but this aspect of the game, even if the rest is quite decent, really deserves some stick. As always, thanks for watching.